But I say that, and oh, hey, everybody, guess what? We are live. I've got Jamie, George, Paul Farmer here. They're here to talk about something, a new event that just started happening in Franklin, the human experience. How's it going today, guys?
Fantastic. Thanks for having us with you, Donna.
Yeah. Did you bring the afternoon coffee? I need a cup of coffee right now.
Yeah, I'm ready for one.
Yeah. Tell us about that. You just had your first event last week called the Human Experience at the Mockingbird Theater in Franklin over there at the factory. Tell us about how that went.
It was a ton of fun. Paul's the creative mind behind this whole thing, and I get to be the guy who tells stories. We had this idea a lot of years ago, actually, and we've kind of been banging it around for a while, but what if we could create a live show that was anchored in storytelling? And we'll add music and we'll add the arts, but so much is handed to us visually nowadays. There's not a lot of space for us to just hear a story and imagine on our own. And so kind of like those who remember Paul Harvey, kind of the callback to just listening to Paul Harvey and just letting him bring the story. So the idea was, what if we could just tell great stories, and maybe stories you wouldn't otherwise hear about, honor those stories, honor people, and be inspired by it. And so, yeah, we were gonna have the premiere in March, and for obvious reasons that didn't happen.
Yeah, that obviously didn't happen.
Yeah, but we got to kick it off last week, and it was amazing. We did some social distancing in the theater, so but it was pretty close to sold out, both shows, with the space in between, and just great energy. The people were incredibly responsive. It was super fun just to get it off the ground.
Yeah. So Paul, tell me about the thought process behind creating this event.
Yeah, I think we were sitting in a meeting one day. This has been several years ago, where we started talking about what if we could go to a movie and we could experience the five senses inside of the movie. So you're watching the movie and you literally feel the explosions. You feel, if there's crickets in the movie, you hear the crickets. They're like crawling around you. They're doing all this. There's all this experience attached to watching a story. So we've known each other for about 15 years, and literally probably 10 years, we've just been dreaming about an idea that would be a very creative atmosphere. We've spent some time in the factory in our days, and we love the factory.
Love the factory. I'm right there with you.
The show ended up at the Mockingbird Theater in the factory, which is a small, quaint, full brick building. You've got metal beams that stretch across the ceiling. It's just a really cool spot to have a live show like this. So our first show, Jamie told the story at the beginning of the show, and it was about a young man who's now an older man. He didn't speak until he was 14 years old.
Wow.
And the first place that he spoke was at Boy Scout camp.
So he had a stuttering problem, and he could never put words together. And he was in a training at this Boy Scout camp to be a counselor, and they told him at the end of the night, you've gone through this training, and said, you're a great kid. We'd love to have you, but you don't talk. So you can't be a counselor. Pack your bags up, your parents are coming tomorrow. But something broke. That night he got into his sleeping bag, zipped his zipper up, and just had it out with the universe and God, and just screamed and cried. And the next morning, the camp director came out, and he was calling for roll in the morning, and it just so happened of the 7 kids in his tent, he was the one who was supposed to do the inspection. And so the camp leader gets to him and he says, tent 7. And he walks up and goes, sir, all present and accounted for, sir. And the leader's shocked, and he's shocked. And he's like, Rufus, what happened to you? And he's like, I don't know. Last night I couldn't talk, and I haven't for 14 years. And this morning something changed in me. So there's this incredible, beautiful story. And he goes on to the military and healthcare. And the algorithms, when you go to the doctor and the doctor's like, hey, you have, kind of puffy eyes and you have a runny nose. The algorithms that tell you what your problems are with the body.
Wow.
So it's a beautiful story, powerful story. And that moment at the campsite was the hinge moment. So Paul kind of got a hold of that and created something. Talk about what you did in the factory.
Yeah. So each night we'll tie the setting into the story in some way. So it felt like you walked into a Broadway play when you walked into this theater, because the brick walls were now projected upon it. It looked like a forest. You actually heard cricket noises and firecrackers. You smelled the firewood. We had some incense type stuff going. It smelled like a campfire. So this was a lot of people. They walked into this not knowing what it was for the first time, and they walked in and they're like, where am I? What is this place? Like, I didn't expect this. So we want to bring the arts, we want to bring the creative elements into the story side as well, and create this inspiring environment that you can come for a night, be deeply inspired, really learn a lot. It's like, I'm calling it's the best date night in Franklin, Tennessee right now.
Okay, well, we need some of those because there's no movie theaters, there's nothing else going on, no concerts. So
no, we thought, you know what, especially now, you're right. Especially now, we thought, what could we do that you kind of dress up a little bit? There's a cocktail lounge afterwards. We do an after party. You hang out. And so there is an opportunity for kind of that communal feel for people to connect, like going to the Scrimmhorn or whatever else. But here's this kind of quaint, intimate venue where storytelling takes precedence. We did music that night, had an amazing band called Anthem Lights, and they killed it. They were amazing. But they're kind of supplementing the story. And so we just kind of go, hey, let's sit in somebody's story and be inspired by it.
So did you have them do a certain song based on the story, talking about using all the senses? Did you connect that together?
Yes, we did. Donna.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm catching on.
Yes. As a matter of fact, they finished with, one of the songs had a lot about meaning and about kind of the meaning of life. They closed with a song called Top of the World. They did they became famous on YouTube, millions and millions and millions of views, because they took they took songs and created mashups, and they've got these incredible harmonies around them. And so they took a couple of key songs that kind of related to Rufus's story. And we said that one of the things for the human experience is we wanted to be a place where dreams find a home. That somebody goes, hey, I'm just a young musician, or I got this story I would love to tell. And we go, hey, bring them to us. We want to try and help release people to their superpower. We want to show people, people have all this potential, and sometimes they just don't have a place to show it. And so what if we could be a place where, we could put some of that on display?
Yeah. Yeah. So you're willing to develop somebody's story for them, give them the other senses, so to speak, right?
Yes, like both ends. Like for Rufus, we were honoring a story for a man in his 60s, and then for a band, we're kind of going, hey, this might be the greatest band you've never heard of. So, kind of a little bit of both. Like let us help craft the story of what the future is, and let's honor the story that's taken place.
Right. Hey, was Rufus there, by the way?
Yes.
Oh,
he's smart.
You got me into the story already. I'm like, now I got to know. Was he there?
He was, and it was a great moment.
It was so good that, you get to the end of the story, and Jamie, I've said for years, is one of the best storytellers I know. And he gets to the end of the story and he says, by the way, this is a true story, and Rufus is with us here tonight. Would you welcome Rufus to the stage? Which, of course, the place erupted. They loved Rufus. He's just a phenomenal. I mean, he literally has written these medical journals that doctors follow all over the world for diagnosing problems and how they go back to a certain disease or a problem in the body. He's genius level is one of the smartest people.
Yeah. It's interesting because one of the things they said to him was, how are you this kind of a genius? How do you have this ability to listen, observe, and diagnose? He goes, well, it's easy. For the first 14 years, I didn't speak. All I did was watch people.
Yeah.
It was this tragedy to triumph story as well, to see that here you have somebody who really part of the greatest pain of his life is why he has one of this kind of genius level gifts. And now he's contributing to humanity in a way that's incredible. So he actually flew down from upstate New York to be with us for the event.
Oh, wow. So he doesn't live here. That's what I was going to ask.
He lived here a while ago. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. So did he ever find out why he didn't speak for 14 years since he writes all these medical journals? Like, what was the reason? I need to know.
Yeah, good question. He said that he'd actually gone to multiple therapists, speech therapists. His parents had him in multiple different forms of trying to figure out what was the stuttering thing. And one of the questions we asked him at the end of the interview was, what would you say to a parent who has a child who deals with the challenge of stuttering? And he said, diversify. He said, I would say, usually it's not one modality. Sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 different things to try and to pop you out of it. Adolescence sometimes is helpful. Your body's changing and something changes. For him, he said, I think it was such a place where I was hung up and stuck Something about that night, in my anger and my frustration, I'd come to the end of myself, and it was like something jarred me loose. But he said the most important thing is there's not a one size fits all. Try different things.
He also talked about the father. He talked about how the father looks at you.
Oh yeah, he said one thing I would just say to parents is be careful how you look at your child who's struggling, because your look is worth 1,000 words. And if you're around someone who's stuttering, and you can hold the space, no judgment, no frustration, just be with them in the tension, because they're trying to get it out.
Right.
If you seem uncomfortable or frustrated or annoyed, or he said, don't be awkward, just be there. And he said that compassion actually helps someone who's trying to get to their words.
Yeah.
What was
be there stands true for a lot of things, especially right now.
Yes. Well said. Well said. We need that compassion for everything, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was really interesting in the party afterwards, there was a young lady that was bartending, and she said, I overheard the story. I actually didn't talk until I was 14 years old. It was a very similar.
Wow.
She had a stuttering problem.
She had a stuttering problem, and at 14 was the turning point for her. And then another guy in the audience is struggling right now with his son's not speaking. He's almost 3 years old, and so there was some connection there in that after party that happened that we didn't anticipate. But it was really cool.
That's fascinating. So you have the next one coming up in July. Is that right? Or are you skipping a month?
No, we're going for it.
Every month. Here we go.
Every month. July.
July 20th and 21st.
What is the schedule for July? Who do you have?
Well, we have a really interesting gentleman who'll be joining us. So we've got another musician. That's a secret. So we'll put them under the category of special guests. I can't tell her?
No, you can tell.
What?
He gives away the secret sometimes.
He's the marketing guy.
You can tell him about Motley.
Okay.
That's what
all I can tell you about the musician's a secret, right?
Oh man, I hate it when you guys do this to me.
So because that's part of the fun is kind of the turn for the story. But we are having a gentleman named Dr. Motley, who's a very interesting gentleman. He's studied in he's trained traditionally as a physician in some ways, right? As a chiropractor, but he does a lot of work with energy. He studied frequencies and meridians. And so his whole point is that, there's a reason when you touch someone, you shock them. They were all conduits of electricity. And there are these meridians that actually are dictating how our body works. And he elaborates on that. Can I talk about and there are
now he's checking. He's looking at you. He's checking. He's like,
we can. Nope.
So there's three. You can tell we're still figuring this out.
Oh yeah.
But there's 3 different body types. Of all the humans, there's 3 general body types, and based on your body type, you show up in the world differently.
It dictates your behavior.
Yeah.
So the 3 different types, based on what you are, you interact with the world in a certain way. You eat foods in a certain way. You do
digest a certain way. Physical problems come up a certain way. So he's able to go based on your body type. I would actually diagnose you differently and help you like this. So if you have the awareness of your body type, you can accelerate your healing and eat the kind of foods you need to, et cetera, et cetera. It's fascinating.
So that's all we can give you for the moment.
Oh man,
there will be a fascinating story that everyone will love and enjoy.
And that's kind of the hook for each of these events. Is the center anchor point is the story, a powerful story that hopefully we can all connect to.
Yeah, I follow Dr. Motley on Instagram, by the way, so I know who he is.
Yes.
You see him dance?
Yes.
Yeah. I like him. He's interesting. I like his philosophy. He's been talking a lot about releasing trauma and anger and yeah.
We can't wait. We're thrilled to death he said yes. So we're excited about having him with us.
Yeah. He did touch on that, what you're talking about, just a little bit on his Instagram. He didn't go into it a whole lot, but about the different body types.
Yeah. It's all fascinating. That and the energy stuff is super interesting.
Yes. So if you guys want to get ready for the next event, go follow him. You can kind of get a feel for what he's talking about.
Absolutely. Dr. Christopher Motley.
Yeah. Do your research, so to speak.
Love it.
All right. So it's coming up in July. Tell everybody where they can find more information and be sure
Yeah, the quickest way is to go to jamiegeorge.com and you do /events. That'll take you directly to the page. This is Jamie, by the way. Jamie George. But that's the quickest way. You can also follow the Human Experience Show on Instagram by searching the Human Experience Show. And it's literally at the.human.experience.show is our.
All right. Well, you guys go check it out. July. Well, July is like this week. So end of this week. Can you believe it?
We're 3 weeks away. We'd love to have you.
3 weeks away. All right. Well, you guys go check it out. Hopefully by then, maybe I can get out of them who the musician's going to be and we can share that. Don't worry, guys. I'll be working on it. See, I'm already getting messages. Who's it going to be? Yeah, I don't know. Don't worry. I'm on it.
I love it. I love it.
All right. You guys go check out the Human Experience. Go visit them in July. It's gonna, same place, Mockingbird Theater.
Yep.
Mockingbird Theater in Franklin. How long does the event typically last? For those who have to get babysitters, you know, you gotta figure out.
The event lasts from 7 to 9, and we are doing this after party that lasts another hour and a half. So
okay, so it's not a bad evening at all. A few hours out of the house.
Local.
Best date night in Franklin.
Best date night in Franklin.
Jamie's gonna keep saying that. Best date night in Franklin. He's gonna get that. All right, great to talk to you guys. We'll see you guys again soon. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Donna. Appreciate it.